Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Draw with T. Today we are back in the Zine Zone, which is actually an amazing name for some kind of zine meetup. Guys, if you know anything about zines, if you're zine related and you're watching this video, please let me know if there exists a zine zone. If I remember saying Zine Zone, I'm going to be checking Google after I record this batch of episodes, and I'm going to check if Zine Zone is a thing, because my goodness, it needs to be. And if it isn't, I think I've just found the name of what I would call my zine meetups. Zine Zone. It is so perfect given how punky the origins of zines are. I love it. Anyways, if you watched my previous episodes of me making zines, then let me introduce you to my Artbook zine. So that basically this is just a little art book of, it's half-sized, so you take a sheet of paper, you fold it in half, and that's how big it is, which is considerably big for some zines, I think. This is a zine with a high page count, a high color page count. That's going to make it a little bit expensive. This is one of the ones that I hope I can print, and I hope I can print cheaply, because I don't want to have to spend big bucks printing this on cardstock paper, getting it paginated, and then having to purchase something like 5 to 10 of them. Not entirely sure how many I should print at the time of recording this. Given that zines aren't a huge thing in my city, I am not sure who's all going to show up. I'm also unsure who's going to show up, or how many people will show up, because this is being held at my college, and anything that happens at my college is usually not a widespread event, so I don't imagine anybody but college people are going to come to it. Maybe a few just, people that have a pulse on that for some reason. So I actually imagine it's going to be a very quiet event. I'm actually expecting that what's going to happen is I'm going to sell basically maybe 1 or 2 zines, probably more so out of pity, or like somebody, just an old teacher happens by and is super happy to see that I've pursued Calasmere and maybe buys a $1 zine, or just something to, support. And then I'll basically, most of my zines will just actually be traded for other zines that I really, really want. And I think even in those situations, I bet you the person is mainly just going to trade zines with me because of my charisma and me just sort of absolutely giving them glowing reviews on their zines, and them just feeling kind of obligated that they have to like mine and trade with me. I don't quite mean that my art is terrible. I know a lot of artists do that, and I do actually personally feel that my art isn't very good, and that I don't really think anybody wants it. But that's kind of my mental complex. I just think what I do is kind of niche, and while I'm a very charismatic person and I like a lot of things, I don't think people are going to necessarily like what I make, because it is very niche. It is fantasy. It's cartoon fantasy. It's cartoon fantasy involving lesbians and other queers and LGBTQ. Just people are picky about just style alone, art style. And then you just simply add art style and content, but then you start adding a story to it, and instantly you start losing a lot of people. But that comes at the price, that's the cost. But the reward is, when I finish Calasmere, there's going to be a very small group of people, very small, but they are going to go absolutely bonkers for the fact that I have made this thing that they needed so badly in their lives. At least that's my hope. That's my hope. Anyways, back on topic. I kind of forgot what my whole train of thought was. This is me working on just an art book zine of not most, it is all Calasmere art, but more recent stuff. Some of it is older, mainly the stuff you're seeing now. And the idea is when I host... Oh yes, and that's the author page. If you haven't seen me in armor, that's what I look like. Go back and pause the video. Yes, that is true. True armor. Like, that's what others fought in it. I got it secondhand. Others fought in it. There's dents in my armor good blows too. There's a big blow in my chest plate that I don't know where that came from. It's like a jousting blow. I mean, if you whack me with anything when I'm wearing that chest plate, I don't feel it. I'll ring like a gong, but I don't feel it. It's quite fun, actually. As I was saying, I'm making an art book for Calasmere. I've said that several times. I'm sorry that I'm repeating myself. I'm very sleep deprived. So the idea is when I go to this zine table and I set up my stuff, I'm going to have 4 zines. And it's basically going to be my little pitch for Calasmere. So I've got this, which is going to be the art book, which is going to be like all the beautiful art and, you know, for people that are more visually inclined, which will be a lot of people because it's being held at my old art college, which is now an art university. So it's going to be a lot of students, a lot of teachers, so people that are going to like art. And I'm hoping that some people will, if they don't like Calasmere or they don't care, then they'll at least be inspired by the story that the art seems to paint. You know, they might like the sense of I don't know, that there's a greater narrative here, quite a solid one too, compared to what a lot of students have. They tend to have great ideas that never quite are completed, which is what's kind of set me apart. Is mine's the story that didn't die after college. Oh, I'm very sad that so many of them did. We're gonna have a jump cut here, because I got very self-conscious about writing on camera. Right here, bam. So I did all this writing, and now I'm gonna be editing it. The art book is to appeal to visual people who want to see the artwork of Calasmere. I'll have a little tiny coloring book, and that coloring book is for people that, you know, they maybe just want a cheaper option. They just want to spend $1 on something, or they just like the idea of a coloring book, or maybe they do like Calasmere and they just want everything that I've got at my table. So, you know, there's a coloring book too, so you can, you know, a little interactive bit of Calasmere. The other book is a proper storyboard and comic, and we've seen in a previous episode me laying that out. That's the first ever version of Calasmere, the first ever little pitch book of it, and that's 5 years old. So this is Calasmere 5 years out, and by the time you're seeing this, it's well past Calasmere's birthday, but Calasmere turned 5 on January 31st, so happy birthday, Calasmere, you're 5, and I'm still working on you. I think a lot of people that know me are wondering why the heck this story I'm writing is taking 5 years. I'm pretty sure they're lumping me in with those, you know, eccentric people that always say they're writing something but don't actually write anything. But no, I'm actually writing it. It's just, instead of being a very simple novel, it's turned into 50 episodes of an animation written by a single person. I don't know if that's a thing anybody does ever. I really don't know, but it's just something I need to do. It's an itch I need to scratch. I want to learn how to write full animation episodes, and the story's already roughed out. It's got some glitches in it. It's got some little plot holes and stuff that need to be worked out, but basically, I mean, the gist is there. The gist is there from start to finish. There's some details. It's just some details like, well, what trinket of power does this person have, or what, you know, powers does this person have, or how exactly is this blow given, or how did this person get from here to there, you know, explain that a bit more, or, you know, that sort of stuff. It's not just sort of some thing floating out in the ether. It's quite done. Which brings me to the 4th and final zine, which is kind of the one I care about most, but I don't think anybody else will. And that's an actual sample of the writing itself. It's actually, Calasmere split into 8 parts, and it features part 1, which is called Intro. And it's kind of just sort of a pitch, a setup of the premise of Calasmere, where we see kind of the little early intro bit. We see Tristan and Ysette grow up together, and then we see Baldric coming and stealing the throne. Then we watch Tristan, you know, we cut to 5 years later and how awful life is for Tristan as she, you know, navigates this, like, dystopian Calasmere. But then, you know, there's a spark of hope. Ysette's alive. She's not dead, but she's held in Actually, this place, the Black Citadel that you're seeing here, this far off place, and everybody says she's being held by a dangerous dragon. And Tristan, for reasons, complicated reasons, is sent off to fetch her to marry the evil King Baldric, but he was originally a duke, and he's featured on the right here. Wow, what timing. Tristan doesn't want to help him, but she's kind of forced to, so she, makes the journey there and then almost instantly defects, and that's kind of where our story kicks off. And the intro section ends with Tristan properly about to set off on the journey to find Ysette at the Black Citadel. So it's kind of like a little pitch. It introduces the characters, introduces the villain, shows the villain in the act of villainy, sets up the story, but doesn't give away too much of the story. And hopefully, I'm hoping people will read it and then just really get hungry for more. That assumes people will read it. I'm not sure if they will. I'm not sure if anybody will buy it. But basically what I'm going to have at my table there is the writing, the art, a coloring book, and where it started from is kind of the approach I'm having. I had some other ideas for stuff. I would like to do some more coloring books, but I'm going to hold off on that. I'm still feeling the burn from printing off hundreds of Christmas cards and selling 50. Even though I think I bought 600 cards, and I didn't expect to sell 600 cards, but I expected to sell off enough to pay for the shipping of them all, and I didn't. And now I'm not sure if I'll reach a wide enough audience next year to even cover the costs. I think people are going to be tired of the designs that I currently have, but I don't really want to pay to make more. And so in the same vein, I don't want to make 5 varieties of little coloring books only to have 0 people interested in the concept at all. So we'll see where things go. Hopefully my zines are popular, and if nothing else, I'm really hoping I can at least trade them off to people that actually enjoy them. That being said, if you guys have any interest in possibly having some of these zines, let me know. I'll have some more pricing later on once I kind of understand how much these are going to cost to print and if they can be printed at all. Anyways, we can talk more in another episode. Like, comment, and subscribe if you guys haven't already. And have a good evening, night, or morning whenever you're watching this. Let me know when you're watching this, because I'm really curious what time of day you guys watch this. And otherwise, see you in the next episode.